Hello there, and welcome to day 2 of the coaching extravaganza. If you didn't watch day 1, I encourage you to go back and take a look at that. It gives a little bit of background to why I'm here and what it is that I want to share with you this week. And every day is going to kind of build on the day before. So it'll serve you to start with day 1, and today is day 2. This is being released live on July 12th. So if you're following along as we go along, thank you for being here. All the details about the extravaganza are over on the webpage at allegrastine.com/extravaganza, where you can find all of the other ways to reach me on Instagram and on Facebook. And you can also sign up to get the daily roundup every day. At about 11 Eastern, I'm just sending out a little reminder email with links to that day's stuff. And I'm also available every day this week from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern at virtual office hours. So if things are coming up for you, you have questions, you want to dive into your own stuff, or just come by and say hello, that link is also on the page and in the email roundup that I send out. So today, the 12th, although if you're watching this later, whatever day it is you're watching it, I just wanted to share a few thoughts and ideas around what other people think, because there can be a lot of conflict, especially the closer you are with people, trying to reach an impasse and a nice, calm space when you're communicating and trying to share different ideas. And again, this is relevant whether it's you communicating with a family member, you communicating with a partner or your children, or if you're in business and really trying to bring this into that part of your life, communicating with clients and also communicating with your employees or your boss or your team. So back to my whiteboard. Imagine again that there is something happening. And there is the thing. I kind of like to use a movie as an example. Let's imagine that there is a movie and you go to the movie, and here's you. And remember, we talked about this yesterday, that within you is like this beautiful, calm center of well-being. It totally looks like it's down at your crotch, but it's just like in your center. Make it more centered. And in that place, you just are free of all this mind chatter, and you're slowed down, and you're in touch with kind of your inner wisdom and your unlimited source of ideas and potential. But you walk out of that movie and you have a lot of thoughts about the movie. Okay? And those thoughts actually feel really good. They're like, that was amazing. That really connected with me in different parts of my life. I love the music. That actress always hits me, in a really cool way. And you just feel really, really good about the movie. But let's say you go to that same movie with a friend of yours. And that friend also has this beautiful centered place that he or she was born with and is just magical and beautiful. And this friend also has thinking about the movie, but their thinking does not feel good. Their thinking feels awful. They think, oh, that actress was awful. What a waste of my time. The music maybe reminded them of something that happened in their past and they just didn't get it or whatever. So same exact thing, two totally different lines of thinking. And because of the different thinking, each one of you is feeling something different. When it's a movie, we know that this is happening. Like, I tell my friend what I think about the movie, and they tell me what they think about the movie, and we don't take either of the other person's thoughts personally. We don't take it too seriously. We're not willing to get into a fight about it. We might say, God, I don't really get how you're seeing it that way. But underneath that, we can just kind of be like, well, that's what you think. And this is what I think. What happens is that instead of a movie that causes this or around which this happens, life happens. Things happen in life, and that thing could be anything. This could be your bank account. This could be something that your child did at school. This could be an issue that you're having with a customer at work, right? Something happens. And you have your thinking about it, and the other person has their thinking about it. This could be a problem that needs to be solved, and this is your team member, and they think, well, let's do this, and you think, well, let's do that. What happens in those moments is that we think that becomes very serious. Is this no longer just is a movie? Well, it's just a movie, Allegra. But I'm always a person that's like, well, kind of everything in our life is like a movie. Like we see something happen and we tell ourselves a story about it. But we think that somehow our thoughts are more or less important depending on what the thing is. And the closer it seems, and usually the closer we are to this person, the more our thinking can just suddenly become so serious. And what happens is not only do we have our own thinking about the thing, but we think that our thoughts are right. That my thoughts about this in our life, they're the right thoughts. And if I think that my thoughts are right, it means that there's got to be a wrong. You can't have a right without a wrong. So inherently, me thinking my thoughts are right means that your thoughts are wrong. And I'm not afraid to express that, and I feel anger and confusion, like how could you possibly think that? And you're thinking the same thing about me, and then we're fighting because I'm saying, why don't you think the same thing that I think? Or the way that I think is how it's supposed to be, and you don't think that way, so something must be wrong with you, or you're not right with me, or we're not going to figure this out. And guess what? We just stay up here. We think that this is us. And that if these things don't match, then one of us is crazy. And the other one thinks, that's right, one of us is crazy. And it just becomes this big thought storm. And then we have thoughts about our thinking, and it just becomes like this thing in our heads. And guess what? We don't talk. We don't communicate. Nothing happens because neither one of us drops down into this place where we're willing to settle down and calm down and say, oh, maybe there's something else to this. Maybe there's a different solution neither one of us has even thought about, right? Remember yesterday we were talking about thermal vents and these ideas, and 1 minute you don't have it and then the next minute you do. I can tell you that you're more likely to find it. You're more likely to come up with an answer, to communicate from a place that is more productive, that's more understanding, that's more progressive and loving of one another, if you're willing to kind of relax what you think and just realize that you're all up in your head, and to say to yourself, like, what if all this stuff that I'm thinking isn't true? What if all this stuff that's making me so angry that I'm so convinced is right actually is just thought? It can come and it can go. It might change. I can choose whether or not to believe it or to defend it. And what if when you spoke with one another, there's this phrase that I've been using called listening for understanding. You know, oftentimes we ask someone, well, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. And so they start to tell us all the stuff that's going on up in their head, all of their thoughts. And while they're doing that, guess what we're doing? We're getting all up in our thoughts. So they start telling us their ideas, and we start thinking about their idea. Oh, that's silly, I shouldn't do that. Or, oh, I know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this next. Oh, that gives me a great idea. I'm going to share my idea. So we're not really listening to understand somebody. We're listening and then creating our own thoughts about what they're saying. Listening for understanding is when you ask someone to tell you what they think, and then you just let them tell you what they think. And you really kind of step back. So what is it they're thinking that's making them feel the way that they're feeling? Because if I can just hear that, just hear it, not take it too seriously, not think that that person is right or wrong, but just recognize that that's all that's happening. That they are thinking a lot, and because they're thinking, they're not feeling that calm, centered thing that we know they have inside of them. And when you can really say that to someone, like, just tell me what you're thinking. I will not judge you. I will not try to change it. You find that your attention to them and your energy towards them as you're communicating completely shifts, because they begin to trust that you're not going to try and tell them that their thinking is wrong or suggest that something's wrong. You just can kind of say, well, okay, and what else? What else are you thinking about? Oh, it's really bothering me that this is happening. Okay, and is there more? And they start to dig down and get to the heart and to the center. And as they're sharing, their thoughts settle down and they slow down. And they get back to this quiet space until all of a sudden they're like, oh, you know what I could do? Or, you know what we could do? It's like something magical shows up because they slow down and they get back into their center and they're able to tap back into that fresh, awesome thinking that's down there in their thermal vents. So that's what I have to say about communication and what others think. Is one, don't take others people thinking so personally. We all are walking around with our own stories. So if one person thinks one thing and one person thinks another, or you think another, you don't have to fight about it. There's some relief in just saying, wow, they think totally differently about this. Two, ask yourself, where are you responding to a person from? Are you responding to them from up here? Are you angry and frustrated and ah? Or are you willing to say, I'm going to be the first one to let this go and just drop this thought and let it settle down and then respond from down here, which is just a different kind of intention. And then also keep in mind that when you really want to try and connect with someone, listen to them with curiosity, listen for understanding, and explore what it is that their thoughts are, because it might be very insightful for you to look at things from that perspective. So that's what I have to share today. I'm doing a lot of hand stuff. Robot time. Couple things. Leave your comments in the space below. If you can imagine this video helping someone in your life or triggering some good insights for people, please feel free to pass the link along, share it in your social media. That would be awesome. I have virtual office hours every day at noon Eastern. If you want to try and swing by, again, head over to the website for that link or hop on the email list to get reminders. I also have some free coaching spots still available this week, so if you want to connect one-on-one, that is my favorite thing to do, to dive in with each individual and find out what you're thinking about and what's on your mind. So I hope that we connect. My email's below, and yeah, have a fabulous day.